Hello everybody, welcome back to the Banknote War Variety channel. Today's video we're going to be doing another coin roll hunt. Now this is going to be a big hunt, as you can see by the thumbnail. I got 2 boxes of nickels and 3 boxes of pennies. They're all circulated this time, no whole boxes of uncirculated stuff like I had last time. So I got 2 different, the other type of box with the holes in the top. They got multiple wheat enders in them. One looks old, so I'm really excited to get into that. But that's going to be in a later part of the hunt. So we got a lot to do here. I'm going to start off with the box of nickels for now, and then we'll go to a box of pennies, and then back to nickels. Or I might do 2 pennies and then split nickels or something like that. I'll find my way out as I do. As we progress through the video, I'm probably just going to do this nickel box and the next penny box, probably one of the ones with the wheat enders, and I'll hunt that more closely. Like I'll bring you in for the finds, and then all the other boxes I'll probably just hunt them all on my personal time, and then bring you back, have each box tallied up what the major finds were, or if there's any really major ones I might just bring you in, but stuff like that. So I'll just skip to the end for those, just for video making purposes and the time that I have available and things like that. So that's probably what we're going to do. But for now, we're going to get into these nickel boxes. Now, both of these nickel boxes only have 48 rolls in them for some reason, so I guess I got gypped for 4 rolls, but I'm not really that concerned. So we're going to do nickels. I got the albums out, and let's see what we can find. So we're going to get into the first roll right now. So here we are in the first roll. Already got something. As soon as I open it up, I seen the edge. And we have a silver war nickel from Denver. Not a 43p is the most common, so I'm hoping this is a rarer one. And it is a 1945 Denver, which I do not have, I believe. As you can see here, 45 Denver silver, don't have it. As you can see up in the album, no 45 Denver. So already right off the bat, before even searching through the entire roll, we got a silver war nickel, 35% from 1945 out of Denver. Harder to find. Let's look at the mintage real quick. We got 37.158 as opposed to the other things. So it looks like roughly about an average mintage, but compared to the 43p, which is roughly the most common, that's not something that you find all the time. So already a great start to the hunt. So we're gonna keep hunting and see what all we find here. Same roll 1 here, and we have a 1942 Philadelphia non-silver in really nice shape. It'll be replacing the one that I have in the album. As you can see, it's not in as nice of shape. So that'll be going in there. So already off the bat, we got a nice 1942 non-silver, like pretty nice. And then damaged, but the date we need, 45 Denver silver. So we're gonna continue here. So I lost track of the rolls here because of the switch up, but that's about how far in we are. Found a 1939 Philadelphia, 2 2024 Ps, and a 2024 Denver, which I need for the album, and a Belgian 1 franc coin from 1980. So did some quick research. These were minted from 1950 to 1988. They depict the Roman goddess Ceres facing to the left. That's 1 franc. So slowed down a little bit. Not a whole lot of old stuff, but we do have another nice find, the 2024 Denver, which you need for the album. We got a lot more finds here. That's about how far we are in. So we got a 1949 Philly, a 1951 Philadelphia, a 1938 Denver key date. Don't have that in the album, obviously. Low mintage, only 5.3 million minted, so that is a key date. Jefferson nickel, so we do have that. That's pretty good. A 1953 Philly, a 1949 Denver, which I need for the album, and another 2024 Philadelphia. We have two more foreigns as well. So we have a Canadian 1998, which I think I already have. We'll check. And then I have a British 20 pence from 2003 as well. So a lot of different finds in this, a lot of good stuff already. With the 49 Denver getting added, and the 38 Denver key date getting added as well. So a lot of nice stuff. So bringing you in here for an update. This is how far we are, almost down to the last 10. We got several more finds. A 1940 Phil, 1954 S, 56 Denver, 41 Phil, 39 Phil, 46 Phil, 58 Denver, 48 Phil, 52 Phil, 56 Phil, Denver, and then we have a Canadian 1974, not too bad a shape, 1987 Canadian, and a 2004 Canadian, and then three more 2024 Philadelphias, and a few more replacements. So not too bad for this hunt. We're getting towards the end here. A few more finds we have. A 1958 Denver, 1946 Phil, 1940 Denver, or 49 Denver, and a 1939 Phil. Another 1987 Canadian cent, a 2011 penny I found, and the 2025 Denver, which I need for the album. So that's gonna go over here. So pretty much about completed this album here. We just need the 2009 Philadelphia and Denver, which are not as, just about as, but not as scarce as the 2024s, but they've had more time to be picked out of circulation, so they're probably harder to find. Still haven't come across any of them. So I'm gonna tally this up. I'm gonna put a sheet, record what each box is, and I'll put this box's tallies up for stuff on there, and then I'm gonna tidy all this up, get stuff into the albums, get the rest of the stuff that's going back into circulation, and we'll start on the pennies and continue the hunts. So here we got the additions and replacements to the albums. Got the 1938 Denver instituted in there, the 1945 Denver Silver, beat up shape, but still a date we needed nonetheless, and the 1949 Denver is in there. I'm replacing the 1961, the nicer, he's slightly nicer, I think, with the toning. Then again, I may not do that, I don't think. So never mind that. These are the changes here. And then over here, we're adding that nicer one in. And then very small changes, but that one is brighter than that one, and I'm just picky about small details like that. 2024 Denver is in, and the 2025 Denver is in as well. So that is the first box of nickels down. As far as the recap goes here, we have the box one, we have the 38S, silver 45 Denver, 339s, Phils, 940s, 8 from the 50s, that's 20 old nickels, that's 7 2024s, a 2025 Denver, 5 Canadians, and 2 additional foreigns from other nations. So that is all in this first box of nickels. So pretty good balanced hunt, but now we're going to move on to box 1 of the pennies. Roll 4 of the first box of pennies here, and we have, before roll 4 we had a 1949 Denver, or 1949 Philadelphia. Kind of looks clean, like it was clean previously. It could be wrong. That one's pretty nice. I found a nice 1959 replacement. 2 Canadians, a 1969 and a 1978. This one I need for the album, the 78, as you can see over there. But this roll 4 is a power. But these 2 Canadian cents were in this roll, but it's a power roll because you have those. We have a 1926 Philadelphia wheat cent with a chip on the end. Don't need that. Beat up 1944 Philadelphia, don't need that. 1953 Denver, which I also don't need. But, we do have 3 wheat cents in just that roll, including an older one. We're 15 rolls in. So here's a little recap. In roll 8, it had a 1940 Phil. In roll 9, 2 more Canadians in 1968 and 1984. Both of those we don't need. They won't be replacing. This is a 1954 Denver from roll 9, I think, or roll 11. Roll 13, we had a second year, 1910 Philadelphia. Wheat cent, don't need that. Hammered, and then that's still a second year, 115 years old, so nice find there. And then in roll 14, or roll 15, we had a 1957 Denver. And then a few more replacements. We're 35 rolls in now. Roll 16, you had a 1978, another 1978 Canadian cent in not as nice shape as the one we found. A beat up dime, can't make out a date, not silver. And then in roll 18, a 1955 Denver. Roll 21, I think, or roll 20. So 1973 Phil with a really nice rainbow toning. Roll 23, a 1966 Canadian cent, don't need. Roll 25, 1991 Canadian cent, don't need. Roll 26, 1941 Philadelphia. I think that was roll 29. This is roll 30, 1977 Canadian cent. And this is also roll 30, 1997 Canadian cent. And then roll 31, 1950 Philadelphia. Or this might have been, I think this was 31. And then this was 35, roll 35. So 1952 Denver. So those are the finds for that. A few more replacements, and that is about it for now. So that finishes out the box, the last 15 rolls. So this was roll 36. We had a 1942 S, I think it is. It might be a Philadelphia, I don't know. Don't need that. 1944 Denver is roll 37. Roll 39, it had a 1956 Denver. Roll 40, a 1969 Canadian cent. I think this is 41, 53 Denver, also 41, 55 Philadelphia, no doubling, and also 41, 1995 Canadian cent, don't need that, and then 44 in 1947 Philadelphia. So, I think that's what that is, yeah. But, so that's pretty much going to conclude this penny box. Not too bad. I'm going to get back to you here with the changes to the albums and the finds for this hunt tallied up on the cardboard, and then we'll be moving on from there. So here we are wrapping up that penny box. We had a total of, looks like 17 wheat cents, 11 Canadian cents, or 18 wheat cents, then we had 11 Canadian cents. Now, 1910, it's not going to replace this. It's about the same shape. It has more distracting marks on it than this one does. 1910 and Liberty are slightly more legible, but not by that much. So that isn't going to be that. The reason I have this album out is I was going to show you. I bought the 1929 Denver and San Francisco at a coin shop the other day, just because they were selling them for cheap, and those aren't too common for dates, so I bought those. But other than that, that's about it for that. No additions there, but these are replacements we're making here. Nicer 1959. This 1971 kind of looks like it's cleaned, so we're putting a toned one in. And we don't have any replacements here. Still no 2025 Denver. We have the 1978 instituted in, and this 1966 will be replacing this on the obverse. Nothing for this album, nothing for the Indian Head Cent album. So we'll be moving on to this next box of pennies, and then I'll be doing the nickels, and then the final box of pennies after that. So we got one wheat cent ender in here. As you can see, it looks like it could be a 40s, but then again, it could be older, so high hopes for that. I'm gonna flip all these rolls and we'll see the other end. So these have been re-flipped. There is another ender. I didn't re-flip the existing one because there's nothing on the other side, so we want to know where that is. There is a 40s wheat cent ender there. No, mint mark it looks like, so just a common one. But so we have two enders in this box. I think there's two in the other ones, and the other one too, so this is probably going to be a good box, so we're going to get into that. So we're 10 rolls in. Here's the finds. We got some pretty good stuff. Roll 1, we had a 1945 fill. Roll 2, we had a 1955 fill, no doubling. Roll 3, a 1930 fill, which I don't need for the album. And our first Canadian cent, which is 1989, Philadelphia. And then we have a 1955 for roll 6, 1955 fill, no doubling, 1946 fill, and 1955 Denver fill, no doubling. Then in roll 7, or this was roll 9, 1953 Denver, and a 1923 Philadelphia, which I do need this for the album. This is, I wouldn't say a rare date, but it's Philadelphia, which are never really rare, but it's not a date that you see all the time when you think of the 20s. The more common dates are the 1920, or the 26, or the 28, 27. The 23, there's only 74.7 million made. But the rarest, I think, is the 1921 fill for the Philadelphia dates. But, yeah, so it's not super rare, but it's not as common, so I do need that. It's in about pretty circulated shape, but can't complain about that for 1 cent. And we got 2003 P, copper plated steel, uncrowned Canadian cent that I'm only showing you this because it's one I need for the album. As you can see, I don't have anything for the 2003s. We have the uncrowned and the uncrowned P, and I have the diadem, but I still need the 2003 P diadem, but don't have the uncrowned for the P. So that is that. So that'll be going in the album. So pretty good so far, and we're going to continue the hunt. There are 25 rolls in here. We got some major amount of wheat cents from specifically from roll 16 and 17. So first we have, I think this is roll 11. I can't remember what half these are, but we got 1950S, San Francisco. I might just keep that. 1952 Denver, 1947 Phil, 1944 Phil, 1935 Phil. Thing with these is I only keep like the pre-1940 ones, and then everything else I get rid of because they're just not, I have a boatload of them already and they're just not rare, so I don't really keep those. But 1958 Phil, I just tally them up. I just keep them up here for now for the records of how many there were. But we had 1935 Phil in there, 1929 Philadelphia, 1948 Phil. These are all Philadelphias, so 1938, 1935, 1944, 58, 55, 44, 36, 34. That's a 54 Denver. And then we have 35 and 36. So we got a lot of 30s stuff. No mint marks or anything, but a lot of wheat cents in that particular set of rolls. A few more Canadians, but nothing for the albums. Maybe a few replacements, but other than that, we were just stacking up the wheat cents for now. So I'll get back to you at the end of the hunt, or if we have a major find. But I think this was that ender roll with the 40s we sent in the end, so it had 3 others in there, but we still have this towards the end of the box to get to, so we'll see what that gets us. So that finishes box 2 of the pennies. We got several more finds here that I'm going to go over. So we had a 1974 Canadian cent that I'm showing you because I need that for the album. We had a 1947, this one's going to be replacing my one in the album. 1958 Denver, 1952 Philadelphia, 1958 Denver again, 1937 Phil, 51 Denver, 1920 Phil, 1948 Philadelphia with nice toning. That'll replace my one in the album. Then here we have this was that ender roll, that other ender roll, which is roll 46. So the one on the end was a 1940 Philadelphia. And then there's 2 more, a 1945 and a 1930 Phil. And then we have 1952 Phil, 44 and 36 Phil, 1934, 1939, 1940 Phils, and then finally we had the 1955 Phil and a really beat up 1973 S, which I need for the album. Now of course it has to be hammered, but I could not find all the S mints of the 70s, they're all very elusive. The rarest is the 73S, I think. As you can see, it's the lowest of the S mints, and I could not find it for a long time until now. It's beat up, but it's the only one I've been able to find, so that'll be going in the album in that slot. And now most of these wheat cents, I know I said I only keep pre-1940s, but I'm thinking most of these 30s ones, and even this 1920 probably, I'm gonna get rid of and release back into circulation because they're not rare. I mean, in terms of common change you find, they're rare in that sense, but they're not really that valuable, and I have enough of them, so I'm just gonna send them back for hopefully somebody else to find. There's some of these I will be keeping, and obviously the ones for the albums, but I'll get more on that later. So now I'm going to get back to you with the changes to the albums for this box, and then I'll let you know what we're doing for the other 2 boxes of coinage we still have left. So in total for box 2, we had 46 wheat cents. We had the one 1923 for the album, and that includes 2 others from the 20s, so that gives us 3 20s. We got 14 from the 30s, 13 from the 40s, and 16 from the 50s, and then also 9 Canadian cents. So a load, super load of wheat cents. I found the 1940, one of those 1940s is replacing that, and there is the 1923 Philadelphia instituted in. It's a pretty good date, not too common to find in the 20s, but not really rare, but rare in a sense, but that is added in there. Now we have that nice tone 1948 going in, that 1947 replacing that weird one. Nicer 1974S, and then the 1973S instituted in, completing this section of the pages. So we just have a few more for this 1941 and 1974 album, but hopefully we can get a better one of them. But now that I've found this, I'll probably start seeing a ton of them now, because that happens. I find a scent, and that happened with these 2023 Denvers. Like, it took me forever to find it, and then all of a sudden I see them all the time now. But definitely a rarer scent. But we got that. A few more changes here. These always can be replaced with something better. There's just so many nice examples out in circulation. And then over to here, still no 2025 Denver. Over here, the Canadians. We got the 1974 in, which I didn't have before. And then we got the 1973 we're replacing, the 1977 we're replacing. So just a couple more on this page, just the 1985 pointed 5 and the 1967. And then over here in the other Canadian scent albums, placing the 2001 and the 2003 P copper-plated steel uncrowned obverse is going in here. So that's in really nice shape. So that is about it for box 2 of the pennies. All right, guys, so that wraps up that section of the hunt. So now I'm going to move back on to the nickels. And what I'm going to do for this portion of these last 2 boxes of the hunt is I'm just going to update you with everything after the 2 boxes are hunted. The reason for that is just because it's kind of cumbersome to edit. I got these 70 million clips of me, and I don't even show all the finds. I just do a certain number of rolls and then show you everything I got, because I don't like every single time I find an old, like even with those previous boxes, with the 46 wheat cents in it, that would be 46 whole clips of me coming in showing you a 1955 wheat cent that isn't that exciting. Because I'm more of a choosy collector. I don't get excited about some common things like some other collectors are more appreciative towards that stuff. I like the rarities of the stuff you don't see all the time, or the really old stuff. That's what gets me excited. So to me, a simple find like just a 40s or 50s wheat cent or old nickel, that doesn't excite me too much. Even like a 36 Buffalo nickel or something. Already have that. Still nice, but you know, that's how I am. So I just am going to make... I may still bring you in if I find a really, like a V nickel or something really old or really nice, an Indian head, a rare date worth money or something like that. I'll probably bring you in. But other than that, we're just going to stick where I show you everything I got and the changes to both the nickel and penny albums after the hunt is done. In terms of what I kept from the previous box, I just kept a few 20s, wheat cents, and a few 30s and 40s that were a little nicer. And other than that, I dumped the rest back into circulation simply because they're just not rare enough, and I don't like hoarding all these wheat cents. I already got a ton of them, plus I got nice examples in my albums. I just don't like hoarding. I like collecting. So the rest I dump back. Hopefully somebody else in this field will find them, or somebody who just likes saving cool coins, they'll have those. And then dump the rest of the Canadian cents I didn't need back. No need to keep them. So that's just the type of collector I am. And I just kept a few of those, like I said. So what I'll do, like I said, hunt through this box, hunt through the other penny box. The other penny box is probably going to be about the same. It has a bunch of enders and all that. It'll probably be just as fierce. hoping we can find maybe some Indian heads, some buffaloes, some maybe even V-nickels, stuff for the album. So I'll update you with that at the end of the hunt, or if I find something super, super nice. So with that being said, I'm going to get right into this nickel box, and I'll see you then. So we finished the nickel box too, so that finishes out the nickels. We got this out, so it's ready to go. We'll get to that in a second. I know I said I'd bring you in after both the nickels and pennies were hunted, but I decided I'm just going to do the nickels first and then hunt the pennies, because I want to show you some of the enders before we start on that. So the second box here, we got 3 buffalo nickels. We had 1 silver, a 1938 Denver, a 1939. We had 7 from the 40s, 18 from the 50s, and 5 more 2024 Philadelphias. So this was a pretty good box. We're going to go straight to the buffalo nickels because you probably want to see them first. We had 2 newer ones and 2 of the older ones. So the first one was a 1916. I had to nickel date it. Philadelphia. I do need that for the album. I need a 1936 Phil. Don't need that. And then we had a 1937 Denver. As you can see, right underneath scents, there's like a faint trace of a Denver mint mark, I think. I'm thinking it's a Denver. It could just be damaged, but it's too prominent to be that. Since these coins tend to wear around the edges more, it's probably just wore off. But you can see when you look at it even closer, it's a Denver. So I need that for the album. So we got 2 buffalo nickels going in the album, which I'm pleased with. Another 1938 Denver key date. Don't need that because I already have that, but I think that'll replace, so we'll look into that. I'm going to keep it anyway because it's a key date. We have a nice, really, really nice 1942p silver war nickel toning on the back. I've never found or seen a silver war nickel in this nice a shape before. They're always usually like either hammered or like just tarnished real bad like those. So this is what one in nice shape looks like. Hard to find in that good a condition, so that'll be definitely replacing the album. And then I found a 1953 fill, which I need for the album. These are all our 50s. That's a 39 up there, and we have all the 50s. Most of these are 58 Denvers. There's a lot of them in there. And these are all our 40s ones. We have 1 Canadian from 1987 and a 2018 Shield scent in there as well as a few replacements. And these are our 5 2024s. What I'm going to do with the 2024s is I'm only going to keep 10 of each mint. So I'm going to keep 10 2024Ps and 10 2024 Denvers. The Denvers are much harder to find. So once I get to 10, I'm going to dump the rest back in circulation for somebody else to find. I think we have another 50, a couple more 50s here that fell off. But either way, excellent, excellent box. I'll get back to you with the changes to the albums. So here's the Buffalo Nickel album with the 1916 going in there. And then our 1937 Denver. Very, very faint mint mark, but I'm pretty sure it's Denver on the back. So we have that. And then over here, that 1938 Denver is going to replace the one from box 1. And then I'm just going to keep that. And then we have the 42p silver going in. And the 1953 has been put in. And down here we have a couple replacements. Really nice 1969S. We'll be replacing that. So with that being said, now we're going to move on to the last box of pennies. It's going to conclude out this hunt. We have 2 wheat cent enders again in here. We got a really old looking one. And then we got one right there. I'm gonna flip all these and then I'll get back to you. I'm not gonna flip these 2 ender rolls because there's nothing on the other side. These rolls have been flipped. Another wheat ender showed itself here. It looks kind of older. So when I flip that, so there's 3 wheat enders in there. Just brought you back for that. So with that being said, we're gonna get into the first roll and then I'll update you at the end of the hunt or if there's a really, really major find. So that's going to finish out the box 3 of pennies and the final box of this combined nickel and penny hunt. In total, we got, let me get the notes here. We got 43 wheat cents in here. We had 21 from the 50s, 12 from the 40s, 4 from the 30s, 2 from the 20s, 4 from the teens, and we have 14 Canadian cents with a 2000 Philadelphia wide AM variety, which I'll show you all that in a minute. So this is all the 50s. This one's going to be a replacement. This was one of those enders, 1956 Denver. This was one of the other enders in the 1957 Denver. And that old looking ender was this 1919 Philadelphia. So we'll keep that for replacement. This will be replacing a 1946 Denver, the one in my album. So this is all our 50s finds. And then this is the 40s finds. 30s stuff. Then the 20s finds. And then the teens finds. So we have 1918 that I did find. It's a lesser common, but the other 3 are just common 1919s. I already have this in the album, but that was really the most notable of all the wheat cents that we found. There is 14 Canadian cents, 11 of them are here. The other 3 were ones I needed for the album. One was the 1960, and then we had the 2006 zinc, not the 2006P, unfortunately, and not the Royal Canadian Mint zinc. And then we have the 2007 Royal Canadian Mint steel, which I tested because it stuck to a magnet. So it wasn't the zinc, but the steel. So we have that. And then I started looking for the wide and close AMs because I wasn't doing that before. I heard some value was in them. So this isn't the valuable. The 1992 wide AM, or the close AM, is the most valuable, but the 1998, 99, and 2000 wide AMs are worth less, but they're still a variety. So this is just an example I'm showing you. This is the close AM. This is what most cents post 1992 have. Now the proofs are different, but the regular business strikes, the A and the M in America are close to each other, almost touching, whereas in previous varieties, they are separated more apart, as you can see on here. So only a few cents of these years have that. The 1992s, like I said, are much more valuable, but this is a 2000. This is only worth a couple bucks in uncirculated condition. As you can see, it's not in uncirculated shape, but it's still an uncommon variety, so I'm going to hold on to that. But I'm going to continue looking for the 99 wide AMs, 98 wide AMs, and the 1992 and 1992 Denver close AM. So that is that. So that's our one unique find of this hunt. And other than that, that is about it. So in total for the penny hunts, we had 107 wheat cents, 34 Canadian cents. One of those wheat cents was in addition to the albums, and we had one unique find, which was this. For the nickels, we had a total of 3 Buffalo nickels, 50 old Jefferson nickels, 12 2024s, 6 Canadian cents or Canadian nickels, 2 silvers included in the 50, and 2 unique finds, which was that Belgian coin that I have over here somewhere. Belgian coin from 1980, and then the British 20 pence from 2003. So those were our 2 unique finds for that. I did update this to 22 old because I originally think I had it at 20. That was incorrect. So that's been adjusted, so that upped it to 50. So that is that. So that's pretty much all the additions. A pretty good hunt. Not complaining about anything. A lot of wheat cents we got. Not too many or ones that I'm keeping, but I'll detail that more in a second. But we did find the 1923 in the earlier box. A couple replacements for the other albums. Got a lot of stuff for the Canadian things. In terms of the nickels, we got a lot. We got 2 additions to the Buffalo nickel with the 1916 and the 1937 Denver, which really pleases me. It was like adding stuff. We got the key date 1938 Denver, 2 of them that we're keeping in that album, as well as other stuff. We found the 2024 Denver, the 2025 Denver for the other album. So we got a lot of good stuff in this hunt. No V-nickels or Indian head cents, but and we're still searching for the 2025 Denver cent. A lot of 2025 Phillies, but no Denvers. Still searching for that. Hopefully we can get that for pennies go out. But that is pretty much it for the hunt. So like I said, guys, that's pretty much it for today's hunt. That pretty much clears or adds another 12,500 coins searched through. Not nothing super rare, but we did get key dates for nickels. I can't complain about this hunt because we got a boatload of stuff that we added to the albums, added to the collection, unique stuff that was cool, old, all over the place. Got Buffalo nickels. So, I mean, there's always better stuff you can find, but can't complain about that. Solid hunt. All these boxes had their own good stuff in them. So I was pleased to see they're all circulated and everything. So that is that. The wheat cents for this last box, what I'm going to do instead of whipping them all back in circulation, because like I said earlier, I don't like hoarding these, even the older ones that aren't worth that much, even the 1918. Probably not going to keep that. A buddy at my Votech school I talked to a lot, he's not a coin collector like I am, like a numismatist. He just saves coins like anybody else. Figured you might like this. Put them all in a bag, 43 of them from the box. That good mix of different dates. You can do whatever you want with them. This is what I'm going to do. At least gives me more satisfaction than whipping them back in circulation, but I'm going to do that with those. The other wheat cents are at the bottom of the bucket, so I'm not going to bother digging them out, but other than that, can't complain about this hunt. Like I said, pretty good. I know I kind of jumped around a little bit. We had a little bit where I hunted the box lot with clips, and then I just jumped to the end and jumped all over the place. But that's just my method of hunting to keep the video more simple to edit. But this was a big, large hunt, the largest I've ever done. So. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. So if you like, subscribe, it helps out the Bayou Boy Variety channel. And stay tuned for upcoming videos. Like my 250 subscriber special that I mentioned in the last Coin Roll Hunt video. I'm still not at 250 yet, so I can't upload it. We got more World War II series videos coming up, and then maybe something else after I'm done with all that. So that's what it's looking like for the future of the channel. But anyway, guys, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.